Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and today I'm going to be doing my mid wrap-up, only because this month I have a lot of mangas and graphic novels that I read, and I need to return these books today because they are due at the library. Before I get started with the wrap-up, I want to kind of talk about my Sally look right now. Penelope over at Penelope's Picks asked if I could do a Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I do not own any actual face paint that you get for like Halloween. I don't have any of that. So what I did was I used eyeshadow all over my face. And before I did that, I did foundation. And then I took a brush, and I'll kind of just show you on the palette that I have. This is an 88 palette that I got from Coastal Scents, but I don't know if you can see that. I took this, where is it? This light blue here, and I just spread it all over my face, and then once I had done that, I took the same blue and did it up to my eyebrows, and I took this blue here, like this medium color blue, and I just put it underneath my eyes, and I also used it for the lines where the stitches were going to go because it's like a darker kind of blue. And then I just put white underneath and on my brow bones. I added white for the laces and then a black eyeliner for all the little parts where, you know, it went into my skin. And then I did black eyeliner for the lips and then a red lipstick. I mean, it's really, really simple. I just used three things. I used the two different colored blue eyeshadows. I used a white eyeliner pencil, a black eyeliner pencil, and then the red lipstick. And I mean, this is really half-assed, and I could have done a better job, but I didn't have the materials, and I did kind of want to do a video today because of the bookmobile, and I wanted to show you a quick way to do the Sally look. I will leave the link below to the video that I used to make this look. I think the girl is called, I Made You Look? I think that's what it is. Anyways, I'll leave her link down below with her original video, and let's get started on my wrap-up. So first things first, I read Welcome to the Dark House by Lori Fiera Stollertz. This was an amazing book. I haven't heard very many people talk about it yet. If you like movies that have contestants that have to play for some kind of, say, $1 million or to get out of the place because they're trapped, something like that, this is exactly the kind of book you are looking for. The main girl's name is Ivy. When she was little, her parents were murdered. The killer escaped and had never been caught. So the whole time growing up, she's been afraid that he would come back to get her. And she decided, for some strange reason, to fill out one of the applications to be a part of a behind-the-scenes look on this director's new scary movie. You had to give a 1,000, I think, under 1,000, maybe it's 100, one of those numbers. She had to write an essay saying what she's afraid of, and then the director would pick his top 7 people that he thought had the most scariest fears, and then they would come to the house. And it was a definite roller coaster ride when it comes to like the scare factor. It's really hard for me to be scared about anything, so if I had to give a rating on the scariness of this book, I would give it maybe a 6, only because there is death in the book, and it's kind of creepy, but not too terrible. I did love this book. I believe I gave it a 5. The next actual novel that I read is Horns by Joe Hill. I read this, or Buddy read this with Penelope over at Penelope's Picks. Whenever I say Penelope, I always mean Penelope's Picks, and I will always leave her link down below. Definitely check her out, but it's such a long name, so I'm just going to say Penelope. Anyways, Horns. This is by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King, and this is my very first Joe Hill novel other than his graphic novel series with Gabriel Rodriguez. I would give this a 4 on the scary scale. He does turn into a semi-demon devil kind of guy, but he's kind of good. So it's more or less a... I don't even know how to explain this. It wasn't scary, but it was kind of like a coming of age kind of novel, along with like a love story and a revenge, and it was a mixture of all those things. It was definitely weird. I did enjoy it. I believe I gave it a 3.5, 3.75. I was wanting a scary book, and because I didn't get scared, I had to drop a couple, or 1.5 stars because of that. But if you like weird, creepy kinds of books with a love story twist to it, definitely check out this book. I cannot wait to read other books by Joe Hill. I'm hoping to get to Nosferatu soon. I'll have to check that out from the library. The next 2 novels that I read this month, I'm going to start off with Hexed. This is a witch book. I have never read a witch book other than Harry Potter. This is from Michelle Creese. I believe this came out in July, I want to say. This was amazing. I read it in a day. I could not put it down. She doesn't know if she's a witch or not, but, she's a cheerleader, and she's, got this life that she wants to live, and one day a warlock shows up and says, "Hey, I'm a warlock. You may or may not be a witch." And she's thinking, what are you talking about? My mom is Wiccan, but that doesn't mean she's a witch, and I don't believe in magic, and all this stuff is crap, and you're lying. And you have to go and find out what happened. I mean, I'm explaining it terribly. And like I say in all of my videos, down below I will leave reviews to all of these books. If you like witches, definitely check this book out. It is very easy to read. It's just awesome. It was awesome, and I liked it. Alright, the next book that I read was One Past Midnight by Jessica Shervington. This was also really, really good. I read it in a little over a day. And this one is about a girl whose name's Sabin, and she actually lives 2 lives. There's one life where she's kind of gothic punk, and she's got a best friend and a sister, and her mom and dad are, okay. They're like a typical family. And then in her other life, she's a rich bitch, and she's got 2 best friends and 2 big brothers and a boyfriend. And she's just sick of living 2 separate lives. She doesn't understand why she's the only person in the world that has to, relive every day twice. And she's thinking about how she's going to solve this when she breaks her arm. When she breaks her arm, it's supposed to transfer over to her second life, and it doesn't, which makes her think, ooh, let's test this theory and see if anything else travels to my second life. And maybe I can choose which life I want to live. But then she meets Ethan, and everything falls apart. It wasn't an insta-love. It was more of a, flowing into love. And the same thing with Hexed. There wasn't insta-loves. There was like these bad guys who, she didn't know, or the girls didn't know if they were attractive or not, but then, the more you hang out with someone, the more you like them. And so that's basically what happened here. I had to stop reading towards the end because I was going to start bawling. There is a little bit of sadness in this book, and the ending was spectacular. I was kind of expecting what the ending was going to be, and when it was, I was so excited. And this is a standalone. There is nothing else after this, so thank goodness no sequels. If you want to read a quick love story-ish paranormal kind of book with a twist, and it's a standalone, and it's awesome, and it's an easy read, and it's fun, and I loved it. Definitely check this book out. That was 4 of the novels that I read this month. Now I'm going to go to the 2 graphic novels that I read. I read Kabuki by David Mack, and this is the volume 1, which is Circle of Blood. This was very strange. It took me a while to read it. I really didn't like the drawings until later on in the book. I mean, it's really pretty. It's very like artistic, and there's like thick and thin lines or whatever. But the beginning is really hard to understand. So in order to read this graphic novel, you have to read it in columns, which it took me a while to figure that out. So you would read all the way down, and then all the way down, and then you would kind of go across. It didn't make any sense. I actually ended up liking this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. At the beginning, I was thinking, oh, this is a 2. I hate this book. But it ended up being really good. And it's about a girl, or it's a historical fiction kind of esque novel. So back in the World War II, a bunch of women from like farmer kinds of towns would be stolen and given to these soldiers as comfort girls. But the general of one of the camps decided that he was going to use the girls as kabuki dancers instead. He didn't want these soldiers to take advantage of these girls, which was really nice of him. There was a star in his kabuki dancers that he ended up falling in love with, and his son was really jealous about this relationship because he thought that his dad was like overstepping his mom's boundaries because mom died or whatnot. And so the son ends up, you know, trying to seek revenge on the dad and the his dad's like lover. And then there's a daughter involved, and then there's this huge like political chessboard. I mean, it's really good. I would definitely check it out. I just wanted you guys to be aware of the column reading because at the beginning it might be a little bit difficult to understand. That was volume 1. The next book that I read was Locke Key, Head Games. This is volume 2, again by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. This was awesome. I love these drawings. They're so great. They're so great. And in this one, the keys that they find do some really trippy stuff. And the bad guy, I just want to rip his head off. And I'm just loving it. Loving it. And this was the 2nd volume. Can't wait to get to volume 3. And lastly, before this video gets way too long, I read 6 mangas. I will kind of give you an overview of each one, but I won't go into a lot of detail. This one is The Drifting Classroom by Kazu Umizu. This one was good. I think I gave it 3 stars. This is about a school that disappears. The town thinks the school has blown up, and the school thinks the town has disappeared. So each side has to figure out what happened to the missing school and to the missing town. And I mean, these are all horror mangas. This wasn't scary at all, but I liked it. I liked the idea of a disappearing school. So there's that one. Then there's Attack on Titan, and this is volume 1. This is by Hajime Asayama. I don't know. I think I would like the anime more. I thought it was really boring. I gave this a 2. I like that, I mean, the drawings are really detailed. There's like these little things here which it talks about like their setup, like their tools and stuff in the town. This is about a circular town that has inner cities within this giant circle wall that are to hold off the Titans from attacking. The Titans aren't taller than 50 meters, and so the wall is that high, but then all of a sudden a colossal Titan comes and breaks through, and people get eaten, and then they have to like escape towards the inner towns. I don't know. It would be scary to be eaten by a giant, and that's what's happening to the town itself. But I didn't think it was like horror scary, so I think I gave this a 2 or 3. I'm definitely going to I'm definitely going to watch the anime. I think it's going to be a lot better than the books. The next manga that I read was Parasyte. This one is by Hitoshi Iwaki. I could pronounce it if I wanted to better. But this is an alien invasion book. I loved this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was so fun to read, super hilarious. These spores, like plant spores, come down to Earth and they turn into like these worm creatures. Can I find a picture of a worm creature? See these worm creature things? And then they like delve into the people's brains. And then once they get into the brain, they can take over the host body and, you know, make them do whatever they want. They're supposed to be eating humans. So these parasites come down, or aliens, they eat humans, and instead of this particular boy, he is able to keep the alien from entering his brain, and so it enters his hand instead, but then he like cuts it off with a...
What's it called, honey? When you cut the blood flow? For drugs. Tourniquet. Ha!
Thank you. So he puts a tourniquet on his arm and he's able to keep the alien stuck in his hand, and then they become like, not friends, but they compromise, and so it's just funny. If you want to read a very strange manga, I would definitely check this one out. I loved it. Alright, the next one I read was the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. This is about a group of paranormal kids. One can speak to ghosts, one can find ghosts, one's a really good embalmer. I mean, it's just a weird collection of kids. They all go to a Buddhist college, and I don't know what they're studying there, but they decide that they're going to go into business and help dead people with their unfinished business, basically. It's really good. I loved the drawings. It's not like too crazy, but each character, you know them, you know, from page to page. It's not like some books that I read that the characters were exactly the same looking. So this one was definitely good. I gave this one a 5. I think both of these ones I gave 5s. 5s all around. I'm definitely going to go to volume 2 for those ones because I really liked it. And the last 2 mangas are from the same author. His name is Kazu Umizu. I despised both of these. They weren't scary, and they were more, I would say, for children, but the subject matter wasn't kind of kiddish. I don't know. I don't think there's a such thing as a middle grade horror manga, but if there was, this would be it. Scary book first. This girl here, her reflection comes out and wreaks havoc on her identity. Like, her family doesn't know which one is the real girl. I believe her name's Emma, or Emmy. Emmy is her name. I didn't think it was very scary. And then the second story is about a spoiled brat of a prince who starts a fight with the swordsman who's watching him, his son, and then the king, you know, takes revenge because the son gets hurt. I'm not explaining it very well, but I didn't like them, and I won't be reading the other ones, the volumes after that, because it was just so boring. And then this one, the cat-eyed boy, is about this here. This boy is born a goblin, but the goblins don't think he's very goblin-like. He looks more like a human, and so they want to do away with him, but someone sneaks him out and drops him off at a human doorstep, and the spinster that lives there decides that she's going to take care of this child, and the town ends up thinking, you know, he's a demon and they want him out, so they chase him out of the town, and as the boy goes from place to place, he ends up being like the hero of each town and helps solve whatever problems they're dealing with. God, you see how big this book is? It was long, torturously boring, and just absolutely boring. It was just boring. I didn't like it. And there's like 5 stories in this one, all with Catboy, you know, being like the semi-hero. I don't know. I didn't like it. That was all of them. I mean, I did pretty well for the first half of this month. 4 novels and then the, I think, 8 manga/graphic novels that I've read. So I think that's 12. If I did the graphic novel things wrong, I'm pretty sure I've read 12 altogether. Tonight I will be finishing up Fables and continuing on with the Diviners that I'm reading with Penelope. I am doing so awesome this month on the reading. I'm really, really excited. So, that was all the books that I read. Ooh, so the books that I've read so far this month, all of these. So that's a ton. Yay to me. Alright. If you have any questions about this look, again, leave me comments down below. Again, I will leave the video, the original, for this look. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon with another video. Another scary look, although this isn't very scary. And more me. More me. Thanks for watching. Bye.